flexibility in a major with a minor or a double major,
Exactly.
sort of thing. Okay. I let's see. I don't think anybody. Yeah, somebody asked, what made Ashoka as a college pick you, and how does this person set themselves apart? What are they looking for?
I think one thing I've manifested Ashoka really hard, as in I said that I really want to go to Ashoka straight from 10th grade. So I think that played a really huge factor into it, where I was just constantly working towards Ashoka and constantly saying, if and when I go to Ashoka. Um, Two, I think what set me apart was the fact that I was extremely real with them. Even in my interview, I talked about very unconventional things that you wouldn't expect to talk about in a college interview, but people do talk about them. I talked about maybe mental health issues that I've had in the past, or how I struggled from moving as someone who was going to do the IIT JEE route to someone who is switching completely to the humanities route of things. I talked about TV shows that I enjoy watching because I'm a media major, right? So I had a full conversation about BoJack Horseman and Fleabag and these other shows that I really enjoy watching with the admissions officer. And so I was never scared to be real with them. Even when it came to my self-predicted grades, I predicted myself low because I did not know how well I was going to do, and I did not know how schools don't tell you how much they predict you, just because people tend to ask for change a lot. So I predicted myself low, and I was very real with them when I said that academics haven't really always been my strong suit. And I do think that I'm worthy of the university, but I also don't want to kind of set your expectations too high. I am capable. I just don't think this is something I want to be lying about. So it was my ability to be real. And also, I think something that shone through was the fact that everything that I did was something that I was passionate about. So when I took up writing, it was something I was passionate about. When I took up photography, in my photography portfolio, I had an entire slide explaining as to why I do photography. Um, when I did community service, it always tied in. The kind of community service that I did was aligned with the kind of essays that I was writing or the interest that I had. Like I spoke about my dog in the interview, and one of the community service activities that I did was, feeding dogs during the beginning of the pandemic. So it's the passion that I had for the things that I was doing that kind of shone through to them.
Yeah, so it's a lot about like being passionate about it and linking it to the interview, saying that, this is my authentic self.
Yeah.
And this is something I really care about. I'm not faking it. I'm not acting. I'm not doing it for the sake of college. I'm doing it out of my passion. Yes.
Like, sorry, I'm so sorry. Continue.
Yeah, like I was gonna say, like, let's move on to almost, can you summarize almost like the application to the interview kind of thing, So apply, make your resume, send it in, do that form, financial aid, and then interviews, and then like that, stages.
So essentially, it starts off with the beginning of the year where you have to fill in brag sheets. Brag sheets are questions and criteria that you're filling in to submit to your recommender, the teacher who's you're going to get a recommendation from, about what you've accomplished in their subject. So they have content to write about in your letter of recommendation. Obviously, they're your teacher. They know of something, but they may not necessarily, especially in an ISC school or a CBSE school, in any Indian board, they will not be fully aware of your activities because school doesn't require you to submit their constant activities to them. So this is just a way for them to find out. You fill in the brag sheet. You start building your resume. Your resume, I'm assuming, is something that you've started off in ninth grade, but you start putting it together and you see it fall in front of your eyes and you look at it and you say, okay, what more do I want to put on this? And how do I work towards it in the next year? Which is what you do before the college application process. Then some people have the colleges that they're applying to picked out towards the end of 11th grade itself. Some people have it straight from ninth grade, but I wasn't 100% sure until I actually submitted the applications to these colleges. So maybe make a pros and cons list of where you want to apply and why you want to apply there. And then obviously some things that you should do is write generic essay prompts in your summer before 12th grade, which is kind of like find the common application, open the common application, see what their essay prompt is. And it's always the same 5 prompts, and pick out your prompt and write essays on it. And most of your college essay, you will see, at least the main ones, are centered around the Common App essay. Even the Ashoka essay, for example, was a variation of one of the Common App essays. So I submitted the same essay for both. So write essays, figure out what it is that you want to write about in your essays, something that you'll probably be good at writing about. Submit, open the application, always download the application early, start filling it in early, don't wait until the last minute. This is very hypocritical because I did wait until the last minute for a lot of the colleges, but fill in the application early, submit it. Once you submit it, stay, either an admissions officer from that school, depending on the size of the school, will reach out to you, or you will have an application portal in which you are seeing the way your application is progressing, whether or not it's been downloaded, whether it's being read, whether you've been shortlisted for an interview. So stay in touch with that. And don't lose touch with your extracurriculars and your studies after having applied to college, because this is information at the end of the day that does go to your college. Like, for example, I didn't submit my 12th board marks because I hadn't given my 12th boards, and I'm not going to give my 12th boards at that point of time. But I couldn't stop working on my studies, because at the end of the day, my 12th report card would still go to college, would still go to Ashoka. So don't stop working on those things after the college and admissions process. Also, just don't take too much stress about the whole thing. Like, it's fine. It will come to you. It will genuinely, like, you will understand how to do it when you start doing it. And there will be people to help you through the way also.
Yeah. There's also something to note is that, like you said, don't lose touch with your academics, because people might see like, oh, she was just doing it for the sake of college, and now she just dropped it. Or, like, this person has not been doing any social work after they got into our college. So why has this happened? So that's also something, don't make a fake self for them.
Yeah, don't put up a facade to show to the college admissions officer, because they see through it like this. You have to understand that they go through thousands of applications each year, and they've been doing it for 5, 10, 15 years. So they see through fake facades that you put up, and if you're not putting up your authentic self, they see through it very, very quickly. So whatever you are doing, be brutally honest with them. Be as honest with them as you need to, because that's something at the end of the day that they'll always appreciate. One, because if you're being honest with them and they reject you, you realize that it's not the place for you, because clearly your morals and values don't align. But two, also because you're showing them that you are sincere about their college and that you are going to be 100% real with them at all given points of time. And if at the end of the day, when you're brutally honest with them, if they still pick you, that just means that is the place for you.
Oh, right. Yeah, very true. I think we can, let's move on to the next slide. I think this is the end. So, okay, so let's wrap up. There are a couple more questions. So did you take any special classes for entrance exam?
So I was going to write the SAT, for which I would end up having to take. You don't have to take, you can always do it off Khan Academy or just like buy books and learn it on your own. But I was going to take SAT coaching. But what happened was that the pandemic hit, and almost all of the colleges that I was applying to became SAT optional. And Ashoka at that point was a college that took the SAT and still does take the SAT, made their equivalent test, which was the Ashoka aptitude test, compulsory, because they know that students who were planning on giving the SATs and bridging the gap between their academic potential and their grades itself could not all of them could give the SAT anymore. So they made it compulsory. And again, at the end of the day, my priority school was Ashoka. So, and almost all of the colleges that I was applying to went SAT optional. So I kind of just took the colleges that weren't SAT optional off my list and did not end up writing the SAT.
Yeah. Yeah, it's So it is optional. If you want to take a class, if you think you can't really do it on your own, then it's your choice. Somebody has also asked, would being in a CBSE school in 11th and 12th have made it easier to prepare for entrance exams? So that's one part of the question. So then we'll move on to the next part.
It would make it, I don't think at any given point of time will entrance exams be easy, because it is something that requires rigorous training and constant attention to entrance exams. And that's why it's just not something I can attest to, because I didn't undergo the process. I didn't end up writing JEE. But it will be relatively easier for you to write an entrance exam if you are doing an Indian board, just because they are more suited in terms of the syllabus of the entrance exam, and the board that you're doing will probably be the same. And you won't have to focus as much on extracurriculars that the schools that you're applying to via entrance exam will probably not end up taking. So it is a better option in the sense that you will have a more organized schedule if you are doing an Indian board and writing an entrance exam.
Yeah. And also I've heard that if anybody is set on doing an entrance exam, they opt for CBSE or state boards, because the workload of school becomes lesser. Exactly. Yeah. So they can concentrate a lot more on the actual preparation for the IIT, JEE, or NEET.
100%.
Yes. It does also, right. The second part of her question was, what are the pros and cons of being in an ISC school in 11th and 12th?
I think ISC offers the perfect middle ground between teaching you enough about applying to colleges via non-entrance exam methods, whether that's abroad or within India, and gives you enough time to prepare for an entrance exam. So if you're someone who's going into the 11th grade not sure which route you're going to take in college, I think ISC is something that's accommodating enough for both. The cons of ISC is that it's rigorous, right? Like all Indian boards are rigorous and they are very in-depth, and they are a lot of work. I would not suggest moving from a CBSE school to an ISC school in 11th grade, just because it's a lot of stuff to catch up on, because the way that ICSE teaches certain subjects is a lot more heavy than CBSE teaches certain subjects up until 10. So I think it's just the heavy versus it provides you with enough opportunity ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, and I feel that ISC is the best option if you want to keep your options open to Indian colleges as well as colleges.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So instead of just closing off a complete country to apply to, you can keep it open with ISC.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any more questions? We are over time. So if not, we'll wrap up.
Should I stop sharing?
Yeah, after your last slide, yes. Okay.
Yeah. This is just a way for you all to contact me. If you have any doubts, you can, if you want to make note of this or take a screenshot of this, please feel free to. This is my email ID. I respond to emails pretty quickly. This is my Instagram. You can always message me if you don't want to have like a more formal conversation on email. I'll probably take a bit to respond just because I'm very bad with text. But yeah, that is all.
All right, then. Nobody has any more questions, so let's wrap up. So big thank you to Isha. This talk was so informative. It taught me so much today. I learned like the logistics, like the start to finish process, almost like interviews, liberal arts itself, then internships, extracurriculars, ISC versus CBSE, and a lot more. I really appreciate your effort and the amount of time that you put into this. So thank you so much for that. It was fantastic, and really happy that you came on to do this talk for us. And of course, everybody who joined in today, thank you to you all for staying on, even though we went over time. Hope you enjoyed the talk, and I hope you learned as much as I did today. I greatly appreciate the support that you guys have given to me. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Isha. Everybody stay safe, stay healthy. I'll keep you posted for the future talks. So thank you, Isha, again.
Thank you so much, Radhika. Thank you for doing
Thank
this.
you.
Thank you.